On a night where temperatures lingered in low digits in downtown Indianapolis, hundreds of college students came to a men's basketball game barefoot in an effort to show their support for their men's basketball coach who bared his soles for a good cause. IUPUI head coach Ron Hunter teamed up with Samaritan's Feet, a nonprofit group which supplies shoes to needy children. In an effort to send shoes to Africa, Hunter decided to ditch his size 13 shoes and coach Thursday night's game barefoot.
I'll be honest with you, it feels like I got fire on my feet right now.
After losing a 24-3 lead in the closing minutes of the ballgame, the Indiana Hoosiers come back on a 49-yard field goal by Austin Starr to outrun the Purdue Boilermakers 27-24. And for the first time since 1993, the Indiana Hoosiers are going bowling. Now, every college football stadium in the country has its share of rowdy fans. But here at Indiana's Memorial Stadium, there's one security guard who goes over the top to prove his allegiance to the Cream and Crimson. Normally, madness like this is reserved for the middle of the running of the Little 500 bicycle race, but not every year a presidential candidate makes a visit to Bloomington, Indiana. And as Barack Obama visited with students here at the Little 500, we found out what they thought of the Democratic candidate coming to Bloomington. Indiana men's basketball coach Kelvin Sampson found himself in more trouble on Wednesday afternoon after the university released a report from the NCAA suggesting that Coach Sampson and his staff violated recruiting restrictions placed on the team and then lied about it to university officials and NCAA investigators. Now, President McRobbie dismissed any notion that further actions will be taken against Coach Sampson before this investigation is complete, and also refused to speculate on whether or not the second-year men's basketball coach would resign. Now, it's important to note that more than $500,000 of that buyout is being provided by an anonymous donor. Coach Sampson, in return, has agreed to not file a wrongful termination lawsuit against Indiana University, bringing a peaceful close to a potentially bitter situation. The Hoosiers were paced by Armon Bassett's season-high 24 points and Jordan Crawford's career-high 21. And while the win kept the Hoosiers alive for their 21st Big Ten crown, their thoughts after the game was still on their former coach. So the legacy that is Indiana University basketball, more than enough to convince Tom Crean to leave his post at Marquette. After a 9-year stint as head coach, he takes over the reins at Indiana University with an 8-year, $18.24 million contract. Now, if I go over on my cell phone minutes, I normally have my mom or my dad at my case complaining about a high phone bill. When Indiana basketball coach Kelvin Sampson goes over on his minutes, he is the NCAA breathing down his neck. Known for his competitiveness on the court and his gracefulness off the court, Eric Gordon came to Indiana University as one of the most anticipated players in school history. But after one season, that will be all, as he announced on Monday that it's his turn to go pro. Well, if a security guard can get the crowd going by doing push-ups, I might as well join him.
Thank you for your loyalty and commitment to Indiana University.
Reporting with the Hoosiers, I'm Ronan O'Shea for thepalestra.com. From our one-on-one interview with new Indiana men's basketball coach Tom Crean, but this is the one weekend all year where basketball gets pushed aside for the bikes. For the second time in 4 weeks, Indiana quarterback Kellen Lewis fumbled on the Hoosiers' last drive. Today, it secured a 31-28 loss at Northwestern. Following the Hoosiers' first Old Oaken Bucket win since 2001, the team called upon Hepner's wife, Jane, to place the bronze block eye on the trophy. Well, as cliche as it sounds, today the storyline is as simple as it looks. A 33-3 drubbing of the Indiana Hoosiers on homecoming Saturday in Wisconsin, and this loss leaves very few positives for the Hoosiers. Just weeks after completing its most successful season since 1993, Indiana football signed 19 new recruits on National Signing Day. But head coach Bill Lynch said rather than focusing on specific positions, the Hoosiers coaching staff just looked for pure athletes. For Dan Dakich, Tuesday night was a homecoming of sorts as the former Hoosier star returned to Assembly Hall, this time as interim head coach. And his Hoosiers kept pace for a conference crown with a 72-69 win over Ohio State. Crean is undecided what coaches he will bring from Marquette to Indiana University and whether or not Dan Dakich will serve any role with this basketball team. But after 3 coaches in the matter of 3 months, there is a sense of relief here in Bloomington. After all, he's played in just 9 games this year and has logged just 1 minute in Big Ten play. But on Sunday, Coach Kelvin Sampson called on the junior from Evansville to make his first career start against Northwestern. giving Indiana a serious shot at their 21st conference crown. But after the game, the constant speculation over the future of head coach Kelvin Sampson once again went ignored. But Gordon joins a very competitive freshman class in this year's NBA draft. Also important to note that his departure from Indiana University officially brings to close one of the most unique seasons in school history. Reporting in Indianapolis, I'm Ronan for thepalestra.com.